My name is Dr. Myers, and I'm going to be your instructor this semester in Sociology of Disasters. I want to start with a case study. You're obviously not sitting in a classroom right now, but for a moment I want you to imagine that you are. It's the first day of class, and you're listening to a lecture given by your instructor. Got 30, 40 other students sitting around you, and you're in the back of the classroom, kind of texting on your phone maybe, which you probably shouldn't be doing, but you're doing anyway. And then something happens. You start smelling a little bit of smoke. Not a lot, but there's definitely some smell of smoke that's starting to enter the room, but no one else seems to really notice. What do you do? Well, you probably know what you're supposed to do in this kind of situation. You're supposed to stand up, yell fire, pull the fire alarm in the hallway, and then help direct everyone to the exits. But what will you actually do? I actually know the answer to this question. We know that answer by turning to sociology. And we actually have some pretty good ideas because sociologists have spent quite a bit of time studying how people act in disasters. And I'm now going to tell you what it is you're probably going to do. And that's this. You will sit there and you will do nothing for quite a long time. You will look around quietly to other students in the room and ask, hey, do you smell anything? You may even text a friend in a classroom or another class in the building and say, hey, do you smell anything? Could there be a fire here? You may even get really ambitious and look on your phone and get on Twitter and see if there are any reports of a fire in the building. If you get nervous enough, you might quietly sneak out the back of the classroom into the hall. And this is the really crazy part. You might actually raise your hand and say to the instructor, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I know you're doing the lecture, but I think there may be smoke out in the hallway. And here's why. People do not behave rationally in disasters. When I say that to you, the image that probably comes to your mind is an image of people running and screaming in a panic while shoving everyone over trying to escape. But that's not what I mean. When I say people don't behave rationally, I mean the opposite. I mean that people will sit in a room that is gradually filling with smoke and wait until their instructor orders people to leave. At which time they will gather their belongings and they'll text their friends as they walk out the door. And they will do this even when the building is on fire. We're scared that in disasters people will die because of panic. People will be trampled as they push each other over trying to escape. But sociologists have learned that the opposite is more common. People are more likely to die because they underreact. They wait until an authority figure gives them permission to leave, at which time they shut down their computers and they try to track down their cell phone. Oh, where did I put that anyway? I'm sure it's a false alarm. Where's my keys? La, 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 la. When the World Trade Center was falling down, it took people an average of 8 to 12 minutes to decide to evacuate. Now, this isn't the amount of time it took to actually leave. This is the amount of time it took people to decide to leave. What were they doing? The same things you would be doing if you were in a classroom and you started to smell smoke. They were checking in with their coworkers. Do you think we should leave? Shutting down their computers, checking in with their boss. Is it okay if I take off? I think something's going on. Made sure they had their phones. They called their spouses. This is a great example of how common knowledge about disasters is wrong. You're going to learn a lot more of these this semester. You're going to learn how people really evacuate, how people really use emergency shelters, how people really panic or not. You're going to learn how disasters often bring out the absolute best in humanity by providing opportunities for community building, for volunteerism, for sharing. You're also going to learn how disasters sometimes bring out the worst in humanity by bringing to light social class differences and how the rich and the poor experience disasters differently. This class is going to blow your mind. It's going to challenge everything you thought you knew about disasters. And I am delighted to get to be your teacher this semester.